1, 2, 3. I am at a middle school right now. I was invited to go speak in front of some middle school students and talk to them about unity and working hard. And I'm a little nervous, I have to admit, but I'm excited because for me personally, my life changed when I was in middle school. You know, because I get involved with a program called Realitychangers, the name of my channel. So for me to come back to a middle school in general is really interesting, you know, because I'm gonna be the one giving back now. So I'm a little nervous. The girls are in school. Eliana's in daycare right now. Her hand is healing. Her arm is healing. So I'm thinking about it there in my heart. But it's dad time. It's daddy time. So hopefully this one goes all well. Other than that, wish me luck. All right, love you all. Really quick, I want to say that I decided to do a voiceover of everything that happened that day. I went and spoke to all the awesome students at this middle school, and let me tell you, there was a lot of energy that day. There was so much energy. Oh my god, these kids were so excited to see me and talk about what's happening with YouTube and what's going on with my life and the kids, and it was just a really, really good time for me. You know, as I said earlier, it was an honor because for me to get back and speak in front of middle school students is amazing, because I changed my life. My life changed when I was in middle school. So, you know, I have been really lucky recently. I've been keynote speaking at different events and just kind of sharing my life of how I was a teen father and how it was to co-parent, how it was to raise Alexa and use my life as an example and of inspiration, and not just to students but also to like doctors and social workers and counselors to so they learn how to approach and help the right way, you know. And so you know, I started off my speech with like this idea, you know, how everyone here has an amazing story. And I was asking students to, you know, as you see, some of them were raising their hands, you know, if raise your hand if you have an amazing story. And I told them, and some of them raised their hand and some of them didn't. What I was trying to say is, like, you know, everyone has a story to share. Everyone has an amazing story, you know. And so I started with my life. I posed a question at first. I said, look, where are you from? And a lot of the students that were there, you know, they live in low-income neighborhoods, so they've encountered people that have come up to them and said that, you know, where are you from? Where are you from? And so, you know, I thought I'd ask that question to them, and not just think about like what neighborhood they're from, but to think about, you know, where their family's from, where are their roots, and to think about that while I'm sharing my own story, you know. And so I started talking about my mother and how she was 16 years old when she had me and my brother, and we were, you know, my mom was a teen mother, and how hard it was for my mother to raise us in a low-income neighborhood in Guadalajara and come to the United States and stuff like that. And you know, and the reason why I share that is because I wanted to talk about different stages of my life and different stages of people's lives, my mother especially, and how they used their support systems. For example, my mother, when she had me young, her support system was my grandmother, and you know, as time went by, different types of support systems were needed. And you know, my mother was my support system for a very long time because my dad wasn't around, and I shared that with the kids. You know, my dad was very abusive. He was an alcoholic, and so he wasn't really a big part of my life. You know, he was just kind of my biggest role model in a way that I'm saying that he was the reason I didn't want to be just like him. I didn't want to be like him. He was just not the example. So, you know, I talked about high school. I talked about my experience in getting involved with Realitychangers and these other support systems that I had, that I used, and the importance of using them, and how in every phase in our life we shouldn't be afraid to let others help us. And so, you know, I talked to the kids about how I got myself involved with Realitychangers. And Realitychangers, not my channel, the nonprofit Realitychangers that helped me get out of my
my bad situation, being involved with getting almost closely involved with gangs and getting involved with and just like in this bad energy. And so and once again using that support system. And so how do I say, it was amazing to stand in front of all these students. It was amazing to share my story and to give these kids hope that there's a way out of bad situations. And I'm just looking at myself right now. I'm just speaking in front of these students, and it's a privilege. It's a position of privilege that I'm in now. And I'm being on YouTube and sharing my life, and seeing that I'm making a difference on other people's lives all over the world. Just showing the people that it's okay to be a father. It's okay to raise your children and be happy and stay in that positive energy. And these kids they deserve to know that they can do the same. They can always do the same and give back. Giving back was the biggest theme of that day. And then I went back and I was asking the kids questions about where they're from. And the first question that I asked them about where they're from. And so, a lot of them told me, oh, I'm from El Salvador, I'm from Guadalajara, my parents are here. And so they got the idea of like where they're, this idea of roots, this idea of culture and stuff like that. So, but that wasn't my goal. My goal is to make them think about, it's not just about where you're from. And then they said, like, wait, what? What do you mean? The kids were like looking at me. It's about where you're going. And then, you hear the audience just going, oh, because it's not just about where you're from. It's about where you're going. Setting yourself goals and using your support systems to move on, to be successful, to stay positive, and to change the world and to give back. And to, and then I used myself again and said, look, I did that. I went through all that. I went through hell and back. And I'm here standing in front of you all giving back. And that's where I went. And so it was just like really cool to hear these kids, like their stories, and hear them like just like some of these kids were like crying, thinking about their family and thinking about how they're gonna get out here and change their reality and just be more optimistic about themselves. I ended up singing, like I said at the end, huge crowd of kids. I got up and like they overcame. I was talking about fears and how they overcame this fear of getting on stage. So then I got out. I started talking to the kids and it was just an amazing feeling to share my life and to give back. And and I'm excited about keynote speaking. I'm excited about doing that more often. I did that as well with others at the California Wellness Foundation. I spoke to other teen fathers. I spoke to other people that professionals, stuff like that. So I'm really excited to see that new part of my life. This new chapter of like being a speaker and not just being on YouTube, not just sharing my life, but speaking. So with that said, I thank you for listening. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. And the kids are doing well. Eliana's arm is getting better. She's gonna take her cast off this week and at the end of the week. So I'll be updating you all soon. And thank you for subscribing. And don't forget I have a Twitter. Don't forget about all that. We have a Facebook as well. We're gonna keep going. And I want to thank you for being part of my life and changing my reality and giving me hopes. And to hear from you and all those amazing emails and mail and all those comments, like that gives me hope that that you're listening and the heartbeat's going. So thank you, and hope you have a beautiful day. And don't forget to comment on this video and like it and favorite and blah 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 blah, you know what I mean. So check it out, check all the other stuff, the covers and stuff like that. Oh yeah, new cover coming up for those of you who will catch this piece of the episode. New cover coming up, new announcement coming up too. Have a good day, everybody. Love you all.